Alrighty, guys. It is time to wrap it up for today. It is 3:30, and we got a very, very, very strong market making new highs. Quite the difference when I thought this morning when I saw this overnight weakness. It was like had been a non-stop risk on kind of a day. So that was a surprise. I'll take that. And I would say that we are starting off this from the long side of the market, at least for now. I mean, I've been holding off to see if they're going to kind of knock it down late in the session, but it doesn't look like it. And after that M period, 3 o'clock switch, they start knocking it down a bit, but it looks like they're finding support and not seeing that free for all sell off. But it may still pull it back a bit. I don't know, but it's. I tried a couple of Nasdaq trades based on that. So you can see I put on a few here, but I haven't been able to scratch back the stuff I just lost here. So I'll show you that in a second. But right now, I would just say we are trading this on the long side of the market. Watch that three-letter edge. If it's traded below 69.90s, I would say we are back range bound. But at this point, starting off from the long side of the market, looking to buy weakness against the mode here, against 7,000s, against the 69.90s, and below 90s, we take off the long bias and go back range bound. It's a pretty strong market, I have to say. Very surprising. Uh, News for tomorrow. We keep going. We have small business optimism at 6 a.m. Then we get a CPI read at 8:30. That's going to be an interesting one. We're going to probably see the margins kick up here for tomorrow. 10 o'clock, we get new home sales numbers. And that's about it, I think. 30-year bond auction at one. So 30-year auction at one. But basically CPI at 8:30, then new home sales at 10 is what we're looking for tomorrow. On the Nasdaq, I did a couple of one trade on the ES, or no, two trades. One was got knocked out of that trade early on here. That was that tried a short trade against the initial balance high here when they were looking at the that was at the 7,000s, right up here against that mode. Tried a short trade, repaired it, got kind of high tick, not quite, a little bit higher than a little bit higher than the high tick, but pretty gnarly anyway. Gonna knock me out of that thing. I tried another long go with type of trade after that when they started pulling back a bit. Oh, sorry, short one again when they were up here. And that it pulled back pretty good. And then they ran up and stopped me out. High ticked me on the stop and then took it a little bit lower. So, okay, couldn't make that work. That kind of sucked. I didn't try to trade the ES since. I did a couple of NASDAQ trades since though. And I had I have 8 round turns right now on the Nasdaq, and basically I got into I was up a little bit, like $20 or so. Then I got into this, tried to fade that edge. Looked to me like they were running up here, stalling. This part did not extend. I was expecting them to knock it down from here at least enough to get a break even trade. And it was borderline, and then just knocked me out. And I repaired it once, and then I got shaken out of that one. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So I got knocked out of that thing. I figured out, okay, when that started happening, on the pullback here, I got in on a long trade, and that went pretty good, and then it stopped me out. So I was thought I had this thing going, and then they knocked me out, and here came the volatility, right? I tried another long trade here, and they started grinding this higher. So two long trades, both of them were shakeouts. Oh, sorry, this one was a shakeout. This one I actually scratched because I got stuck twisting in the wind for a while. Then I tried a short trade, and I kind of there was not great trade location. I got short against the Tablet, and you kind of had to you don't want to quite do that, but I kind of missed that, and so I got short. And again, nice break even trade. Back, look at that high tick me on the stop, and then I've been going back and forth. And it would have been knocking me out on that one still here at the end period shift because it got a little bit volatile here at the end. So I would have probably been able to sit in that one anyway. But I was expecting them to kind of knock it down a little bit harder there, so it didn't work. So I'm just down 11 right now. So down 33, down 11, 8 to 11 round turns total. So that's kind of the record. Not a great show, not a big loss either. Just kind of grinding it, can't quite make a go out of it. So that's where we are. Haven't taken any bond trades. Bond market is pretty much range bound right now. Didn't do much. Now we had a potential setup on the bonds, but it wasn't like well defined enough for me to want to take it though. Let me show you. They were going back and forth here. You can see that they were grinding her up here. They stalled up here for 1, 2, 3 bars, ticked up a little bit, ticked down, and then so it wasn't quite that they're stalling here like an obvious stall. So you can't really make it a case out of what you want to do here. So if you want to get short, I wanted to get at least up in this range against the 29 and you didn't have much here. You had like 21 contracts traded there. It would not have worked. And then now they've been slowly grinding back to the mean. So no real setup there. And I will just start off range bound on the bonds going into the overnight. That's how we go. So both ES and NASDAQ starting from the long side. If the ES closes below that 69.90s, we will take off the long bias. If the NASDAQ close below this ledge, the 860s, that it's going to adjust this ledge for tomorrow, but this 860 three-letter ledge, if they close below that, we'll be back range bound. Otherwise, starting from the long side of the market, let's see how far they can take it. So I'm watching it. I'm seeing if they're going to try to knock it down. They may try another trade here late in the session. I mean, I'm just waiting for them to knock it down. It's been so freaking volatile, sloppy trading, so it's hard to find good trade location. Now, this one, the last one I took wasn't great. Good, that's how it goes. Alrighty, guys, we leave it there, and I'll see you back bright and early in the morning, and we'll go at this again. Alrighty, guys, later.